Welcome back, everyone, to a brand new edition of Putting in Time. I believe this is issue 4. We are back on the Felsburn map. First off, I did want to welcome everyone in. I wanted to just remind everyone that new episodes come out every Friday, and you can also catch me on my Twitch channel. It is in the description below, but you can go to twitch.tv /the_mister, and I stream every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. But other than that, let's kind of jump back in and get going. If you recall, last time we had just got done harvesting and cultivating field 18, and as you can see, it does need some lime. We're running a little low on funds, but I think we should still have enough to get that limed and seed and everything. So let's just kind of pull over here and we will offload. One of the new additions to 19 is any of the fertilizer or herbicide that you have, you can actually offload. Oh, let's see, where does this one have a BGA? Okay, we got to go all the way down there, it looks like. Or we can go all the way up here. So, or we can just buy pallets. Let's see what the pallets are going to run us this time, guys. Because you can buy them. It may end up being cheaper just buying them from the store. So $450 for 2,000, and our seed or our spreader will hold. Go into the garage. Holds 9,000. So I mean, really, that's not bad. We'll do an experiment. We'll just buy them from the store this time, and then the next time we will go down to the BGA and see if it is cheaper. This time I have a feeling if you buy them from the BGA or any of the lime stations, it's probably a little bit cheaper. But you got to factor in the time to go down there and get it. And so since we are so close to this field, we might as well just buy them right here. So we can hold 9, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and partial of a 5th one. But for those of you that are new to the game or are thinking of it 19 instead of 17, there is a lot of stuff that they have kind of added. One of them is being this liming the fields. It's kind of a addition to you used to have to do plowing, and now that's really not a thing. Like, you still do it whenever you have to switch from one crop to another, but you don't have to plow it every 3 times you harvest something like you used to before. Now it is only on your root crop, like your sunflower, your sugar beets, your potatoes, corn. So what they have instead is you have to periodically lime the fields. And that is kind of every 3rd rotation. Alright, we got that. Looks like I never bought a cover for this. Oh well. So yeah, you periodically have to lime the fields. And if I recall correctly, all that really does is, like in IRL, is whenever you're putting fertilizer on the field, it kind of lowers the pH throughout the year and throughout, however many times you do it. And then at the beginning of the year, you would actually put lime on it, and it kind of boosts the pH back up to where it needs to be for your crops to actually get, grow and have a decent yield. I think they will grow in lower pHs, but not as efficiently. So in doing so, your yield will be lower. So let's see if we can, how much of this field we can actually get done with this. Just one thing of note, the width that you would normally spread with your fertilizer whenever you do lime, you will actually go through the lime considerably faster. So please keep that in mind when you are deciding if you're going to turn the liming on your fields. And wow, this field is a bumpin'. You know what? We actually might be pretty good on just this one load. It's gonna be close though. I'll give you that. Definitely want to make sure that when you get to the ends of the fields, that you do shut it off. One of the things that I have noticed even on, and I'll kind of show you when it comes like to the planting. In the old one, in 17, if you were planting your crops and you could just leave the seeder on, because anytime you would hit a section that you had already seeded, it wouldn't use seed. And it still is like that now. You don't use the seed up, but what you will see is the fertilizer continues to go down if you have a seeder or planter that will put fertilizer down. It continues to go down. So to avoid losing that little bit of extra, especially when you're starting and you're limited in your funds, make sure you do turn those your equipment off when you're doing turnarounds. As you can see, we are actually going through this field pretty fast, and we're about halfway, so I think we're going to be good on just this one load of lime. So that is good to know for the future reference. Oh, you know what? We might actually be one short, but we will see. I'll get lined up here so we get maximum spreadage. So I know it has been a little while since I did a video. It's been, I had done one a couple weeks ago, and it was a little bit longer, so I did put it into 2 parts. But so this is my first real video after the holidays. So how was everyone's holidays? What was your favorite thing that happened over the holiday weeks? And this could be any time from, let's go back all the way even to Thanksgiving. Anything that happened over your Thanksgiving or Christmas or New Year's. What was your favorite thing that happened? I had stated before that we didn't really have a chance to go home because of my work schedule, but we did what we could at home here. The kids opened presents, had a lot of fun. I got a different hard drive for Christmas from my wife, and every year we do get money from our family for each of us. So we normally go and get something for ourselves. And this year, because of all the different YouTube and Twitch stuff I've been doing, I took my money and I actually put it towards a Stream Deck, which I have been using, and man, I am loving it. I never knew, I knew it would help, but I guess I didn't understand to what degree. And oh, we're just short, guys. Oh, I wonder if that, I bet you that one partial of that pallet would be enough to do it, and we didn't have the capacity to hold it. Oh, that would be just a second. But no, I got an Elgato Stream Deck that I've been using, and it takes a little bit of time to get it set up, but man, once it is set up, It makes things so much easier. You can set it to, play different sounds if you wanted to, or in regards to when you're streaming, if you've got a chat that's going, you can just have simple commands that are set up. So if you have like a TeamSpeak or different websites that you want to try and get people to go to, it's there. It's just a simple hit of a button. Let's. I'm pretty sure that one would be enough, but rather than running short still, let's just go ahead and grab one more full pallet. Okay, and that should be more than enough to finish that little bit that we have. But so yeah, I've got that. I've spent the last week or so kind of putting in different things into it. And those of you that are kind of on the fence, you've thought about getting one. Maybe you're a streamer yourself. It is a little bit pricey, especially if you don't really know what it is or how it's going to work. But I'm here to tell you, it is definitely money that is well spent if you get one. And the setup, it takes a little bit of time, but it's not like it's difficult. Basically, the way it works is you're going to have a bunch of it's the commands more or less are pre-programmed. And it's you just take the different commands and you drop them into place, and then you kind of change the settings of those. So kind of an example is you have a button you want it whenever you say you're using OBS, right? There's a whole section of commands that are just for OBS. And if that is the only program that you use, you can actually get rid of everything else. Like, you can hide it. And then you would go back and everything that it has in there. So, like, if you wanted to, when you hit this button, have your OBS start recording. Just that hit of that button, you can do that. And then you can have it unmute your mic so that you don't run into an incident where you've hit record and forgot to open your microphones. Or if you want to switch scenes in the middle of doing something, all you got to do is you hit that button and it'll switch to scenes to being slightly different. So that is kind of what it does. Okay, now that field is, we missed a little section, but I'm not too worried about that. So let's jump over to our seeder real quick. And I guess we kind of have to decide what we're going to plant. Let's see. Jump into our pricing here. Now, what I do is I kind of look at what is kind of either going down or is flatline. Like this, I mean, there's one section that's kind of going down, so chances are this is probably going to drop a bunch. And it's kind of risky. You can either try planting this, that way you have a bunch on hand, or right now, since we don't actually have a storage, this is ideally what I look for. There's nothing going up, nothing going down. So I think that's what we'll actually plant this time, guys, is we'll plant some soybean in hopes that it will go up by the time we are ready to sell. And just select our seed to soybean, and there we go. But as you can see, I had actually fertilized this field beforehand. So we still have the one growth stage on it. I guess technically I could have gone back already and put a second stage of fertilizer, but I always wait until afterwards. Um, we kind of have a system on. I play on a server, uh, and we kind of have a system down for if you plant everything, you're going to have to use the herbicide to get rid of stuff and then fertilize. And for the longest time, we actually thought you had to wait until the weeds popped up on the herbicide before you could do that. And then you would fertilize, you'd plant, and then you'd fertilize. You'd wait for the weeds to grow, and then you'd fertilize again. Well, there's a much simpler system for doing that now, guys. As of right now, you can actually fertilize. If you have a seeder that fertilizes, it's actually the best because you'll fertilize in that stage. As soon as you're done with that, you'll have the fertilized texture on your field, that kind of darker brown color. From there, you actually go through and you herbicide, which will get rid of that dark brown texture, and it'll go back to the light brown that you see now. And I guess I can actually just let the seeder run the whole time because I don't have one that fertilizes. But definitely if you have one that fertilizes, make sure you turn it off. Okay, so back to what I was saying. You actually fertilize with your seeder. You go through, do your herbicide, and it'll get rid of that texture. And then you come back with your sprayer afterwards, and you spray your fertilizer again, and that will get all your fertilizing stages, and it will get rid of your weeds. If you wait until your weeds actually start to pop, you'll see them on the field, and that point it will actually show up on your map. But if you choose to do it beforehand, you strictly are just going off of the texture on the field. Both ways work. It's just kind of your preference. And in my method here, since I don't have a seeder that fertilizes, I normally would have to do an extra stage of fertilizing, but I think I currently have it set to one stage. I don't know. Well, let's see, guys. What do I have it set at? You know what? Maybe that's not an option in this one. Okay, yeah, so it's just set to 2 stages. So as you can see, this is actually going pretty quick. We've got some decent equipment. I definitely think one of the things that I will be doing to improve pretty quick here is definitely the seeder. It'll save a little bit of time if I do get a seeder that will actually fertilize as well as plant. And why is this time? I don't know what it is. Every time I come down here, the timing is just perfect that there's going to be a car in my way. But I kind of like the different, the vehicles on there. Like I stated before, we do play on a server, and you can kind of get in there a lot of times when there's only 1 or 2 people. So the map kind of seems dead, and there's no traffic. The only thing that you will see is there is a train that goes around the map, and that's really about the only kind of movement I've been seeing recently on our server. We do have two servers. There is an open server and a stream server that we use. So definitely come out and join the community and join the streams, and we can get you guys in there for sure. Again, those streaming days are on Sunday and Tuesday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then on Thursdays, I start a little bit earlier. I start at 3 p.m. And I don't really have a quit time on my Thursday streams. I just kind of go until whenever. So that is really the best time to kind of get in there. I do have a variety of different games that I do play, so see a little bit of everything. I have been playing a fair amount of Farm Sim as of recently, but pretty soon here I will be jumping back to some of my other games as well. I do have a bunch of like open world type games that I play. I've played a fair amount of like Skyrim before I started streaming it, but I play games like Witcher 3. Those of you that are familiar with Subnautica, it's kind of an underwater open world type thing. I've played that, and I'm always on the lookout for open world games. So if you guys have any suggestions of things you would like to see, please leave them in the comments below. And as always, if you enjoy the content that I am putting out, please do not forget to hit that subscribe button on there on that channel, or on this very channel. We're currently trying to get our subs up to 100. At 100, we actually get a custom URL, which makes it easy for everyone to kind of find us. So please, if you are enjoying the videos, do not forget to hit that subscribe button, as you will also get notified when I post new videos. And as you can see, that we're actually knocking this out pretty quick here, guys. But I am definitely trying to use some of the equipment that I haven't used before. A lot of times you use like the first couple, like the early equipment, and then after that you kind of save up and you just jump to like the bigger equipment. And I'm trying to use a little bit more of that equipment in middle ground that you really don't see a whole lot, or that I haven't used a whole lot of. And as you can see, guys, I'm still turning off my seeder because I am so used to having a seeder that fertilizes as well. So you will develop those habits. Oh, and one other thing that I should mention, for those of you that are unaware, if you are thinking about getting into playing the farm sim games, but you don't really know how to get started in it, you know, maybe you're just thinking there's a lot to it and you won't grasp what you have to do. When you first start up the game, there is actually a bunch of tutorials that you can go through that tell you, it basically shows you how to do everything. You get a chance to use some of the different types of equipment, but it goes through the basics as far as preparing the fields, planting the fields, harvesting, like goes through all that. It goes through how to do the different type of food for the different animals, like the haylage and silage, and making the mixed ration. So there are resources available to go through anything that you need for the game. And then as well as there actually is an in-game menu, so that when you're physically playing it, it's not so much a tutorial, but it does have like the reminders of, hey, by doing this, this will happen. And I will show you that in just a second here. you can go into this area right here, and it basically goes through everything planting, like it tells you what it does, so it is a little bit of a reminder. But definitely that menu at the start with the tutorial, it physically pulls you into a farm with the equipment and has you use it, and it's got the little windows that tell you what to do step by step, and then you physically go through having to do each thing, so that you have an idea of what is required to do that when you actually have your own farm in the game. Looks like we have about 4, maybe 5 passes left, and we'll be done with our planting. Oh, and I guess I can show you guys this as well. I don't use it personally, but if you are just getting used to the equipment, and this is how much I use it, because I don't even remember what button I need to hit. Z. Z is a ridge marker. Okay. What you do is every time you hit it, it'll start on the left, then go to the right, and then it'll have them both closed. But what that thing does here, guys, is as you're going down the field, you can see it leaves a little mark in the field. It's not too useful during the day because you can see pretty much everything. But it actually leaves a little groove in the ground. And what that is for is when you get to the end of the field, to kind of be a little bit more efficient, you actually put that center line right in the middle of your tractor. And by doing so, that's going to cause it to go right down the middle of your seeder. So it makes it so that your Z. Now all we do is we go right down this center line. You can see there's just a little bit of groove, and that makes it so that you're not wasting your time by going over the same area you already have. And it also prevents you from going too far over, so you're not skipping. Like I said, it is a lot more useful at night. And then if you haven't actually limed, like when you lime, you can obviously see where you've missed or where you have not. But when it's dark and you don't have that contrast of the different colors, it can be kind of hard to tell where you've already planted and where you have not. So you guys can use that if you are kind of new to it or new to the game. But I have I have been playing it for a little bit. So as long as I remember to turn my seeder on, I don't really have too many issues with it. Other than, like I said, at night, something with the colors and like the lights that you have on the tractors make it difficult to see where you have already planted. And it looks like we may be able to get the last of this in one more pass, so let's see if we can't finagle this out, guys. We're almost done with the planting, and then we'll be back on to herbiciding and doing our last stage of fertilizer. And again, I turned my seeder off. Habits, guys. They're hard to break. Now, yeah, it looks like I might have just a little bit to go back over, but it's all in all not too bad. Yeah, we're just a little bit off. I bet you there was a couple passes that we did that we probably went over the same seed again. But that is really not an issue because, like I said, all we got to do is just go back over it. Since we have to go back down anyways, we might as well just make sure we're not missing some in the little grass section that we can't see. And here we go, 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 go. Alright, so the field is completely seeded. We can go bring this back to our little homestead area. And as you can see, like the seed, this is a full seeder. It's only, I want to say it was only around 3,000 seed, and it seeded our entire field, and we could probably do it another 4 or 5 times before we actually run out of seed. So your seed goes a long way in this game. Let's pull this in here quick. And I think this is where I am going to call it for this video, everyone. As always, I'm glad you all could come out and join me and look for these episodes of Putting in the Time every Friday. And as always, you can follow me on my social media, which is you can follow me at the Mister at the underscore Mister underscore. You can follow me on Twitter at the underscore Mister underscore underscore. You send emails to me at the underscore Mister at yahoo.com. And as always, you can catch me on my streams on twitch.tv/the underscore Mister every Sunday, Tuesday at 8 p.m. and on Thursday starting at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. So other than that, you all stay safe and have a good one.